Good morning and welcome back to the one and only Bob. We last left them. The flood was coming with the hurricane, and the adults and most of the animals left, and that left Bob and Boss and Snickers and a few other animals at the animal shelter, and the water was rising. An awful noise comes, like a tree trunk splitting in two. While we watch in disbelief, a piece of the roof the size of a Great Dane simply vanishes. Rain gushes through the hole in torrents. Boss, I say, it's time. Jump on my back. And that's a good idea because why exactly? Because maybe you'll get your turn, I say. Your chance to have things go your way. I've had an interesting life. I want you to have one too. Bob, at best you're buying me a couple extra minutes, Boss says. Sis, I'm like 30 seconds older than you. You're not the boss of me. Please? Why, just because you're a guy, I could take you down in a second with 3 paws tied behind my back. And if you get out of here and I don't, I continue, ignoring her, there's a place I want you to go. Sit on the front porch, wait for the humans who live there. Who are you kidding, Bob? We're both about to die. 3 blocks up, 4 houses down on the left. Look for a big oak tree. Guy named Nutwit lives there. Nutwit? She's suppressing a smile. Say it, I command. Fine, whatever. 3 blocks up, 4 houses down, Nutwit. We go back and forth like that, arguing, bantering, trying not to hear the terror of our cage mates, and I think maybe I'm starting to hallucinate a little. I'm starving and freezing, and I feel kind of dizzy. All the smells and sounds are mingling together, and crazy as it seems, I actually think I can whiff Ivan. Well, that's kind of cool, I think. At least I'll be remembering my best buddy when I die. There are worse ways to go. The water laps at my mouth, foul-tasting and frigid. Now, I say to my sister, get on my back now. I'm saving you whether you like it or not. Something in my choked voice scares her, I guess, because she leaps right onto my back with a horrified yelp. I blink back muddy water. A silver presence looms before me. Still, I'm not entirely sure it's him until I get a real big old whiff of banana. Hey, Bob, says Ivan. The screeches of terror are ear-splitting, and my poor ears have endured plenty by this point. Folks, I cry, relax, he's here to save us. Monkey, screams the orange cat, giant monkey. I beg your pardon, says Ivan. The bunny cowers in a corner of her cage. If King Kong is here to eat us, I'd rather drown. Sea serpent, screams the beagle. An arched gray trunk glides past. Ruby? I exclaim. She's just tall enough to keep her head above the water. Ivan, Ruby, Snickers calls in a delighted voice. Over here, dears, long time no see. Hey, Snickers, Ruby says. Snickers wags her drenched tail puff. My, how you've grown, sweetie. Excuse me, says Gray Muzzle, but maybe the happy reunion could wait till we're, not underwater. Ivan taps his chin. He's always slow, always deliberate. I like that about the guy. Except when I'm about to drown. We need to get all of you out to higher ground, he says at last. But the current's tough to fight, even for Ruby and me. There's always the roof, I say, but it's damaged. Ivan nods. Seems there's a tree on it. Look, Uncle Bob, Ruby says, patting back and forth. I'm an Ella mermaid. Kid always makes me smile. Good work, Ruby. I got an idea, says Ivan. I'll take multiple trips, so I'm going to start with the smallest creatures and work from there. My sister gazes down at me from her perch on my back. You actually know this ape? He's my best pal. Ivan and I go way back. A long pause follows. Bob, Boss finally says, you weren't kidding. You really have had an interesting life. One thing about being a silverback, that strength of 8 men thing comes in handy. Ivan starts with the bunny and the dachshund, one in each arm, along with the 2 cats perched on his shoulder and head. One more trip, this time with the beagle and Snickers, and then Boss and me are on our way. Ruby holds tight to Gray Muzzle's collar, and he manages to paddle alongside her using Ruby as ballast. It takes us a while to cross the street. The current's swift and the water's up to Ruby's neck in places. Ivan, I ask as we approach the other side, did they find George and Julia? They're okay. A little banged up, but fine. They made it safely to a keeper's shed. Tree fell and blocked the door. I choke back a sob of relief. George was out looking for you when Ruby and I left. How did you find me? Ruby saw which way you were running, says Ivan. And don't forget that gorillas and elephants have great noses, Bob. Maybe not dog level, but not bad. We followed your stink, Uncle Bob, Ruby exclaims. When we reach the far side, I see where Ivan has deposited our fellow inmates, the parking lot of a donut shop. The lights inside are off, like everywhere else, but I glimpse a few flickering candles and people are milling about. Come on, everybody, Ivan calls. Let's get you inside. I'm hoping these folks won't mind a bit of company. As we gather at the entrance, Boss pauses. Gonna head out, she says, avoiding my gaze. What? I demand. I just found you. You can't leave now. She hesitates. The puppy thought maybe I'd check. I mean, I know he's probably gone. She looks at the muddy pavement. It's crazy, I know. Yes, I say firmly. It is crazy. Besides, you're too weak and your paw is injured. My voice grows urgent. Think about it, boss. What are the odds he stayed in that car and waited for you? Who knows where he is by now? Yeah, she looks defeated. I suppose you're right. What's wrong, Bob? Ivan asks. My sister... Whoa! Wait, this is your sister, Uncle Bob? Ruby interrupts, turning to Boss. Then that means you're my aunt. Boss has a puppy, I explain, stuck in a car near the bridge. I point with my nose. Ivan doesn't know his way around town the way I do. That way, not far. She wants to try to find him, but, well, you know, he's probably long gone by now. I know my words are harsh, but I'm trying to protect Boss. No way that puppy is still alive. Ivan strokes his chin. Why don't we get everyone settled inside, he suggests. Then we can figure this out. Never mind, Boss says. Bob's right, it's nuts. Way too dangerous, and probably too late anyway. She takes a deep breath. He's not exactly the first pup I've lost. You'd think I'd be used to this by now, wouldn't you? I don't know what to say. I want to make her pain go away, but what can I do? I'm no bigger than Boss is, and certainly no smarter. And I've got my own problems. My busted nose, my aching foot, my angry stomach. Look out for numero uno. That's my motto for a reason that keeps me alive this long. Some fool blurts, I'll go find him. And apparently it's me. We'll go, Ivan says. Yay, more swimming, Ruby cries. It's not safe, Ruby, I say. You have to stay here. I promised Akello I'd watch out for you. I made it this far, she says, donning her elephant pout face. Ivan and I sigh. It's exhausting, all this responsibility, this worry, this love. Promise to stay close, I ask. She holds up her trunk. Elephant's honor. 'Cause Akello will make dog soup out of me if anything happens to you. Yuck, Ruby giggles. Hey, did you know I can almost do a somersault in the water, Uncle Bob? Ivan taps politely on the door to the donut shop. But even a polite knock from a gorilla sounds like a visit from a wrecking ball. The door opens a crack. I think 2 or 3 people may have fainted, but we can't stay to find out. I hop onto Ivan's shoulder and the 3 of us head off. I glance behind me to see Boss standing on the pavement watching us. In the darkness, I can't read her eyes, but I'd like to think there's hope in them. We slog up a slight hill and round a corner. The traffic lights are out and nobody seems to be on the streets. That is, until we cut through a stand of palm trees and come across some police officers in a slow-moving squad car. Its blue and red lights circling. Attention, one of the officers announces over a loudspeaker. This area is under mandatory evacuation order. Do not... The announcement stops and so does the car. Uh-oh, says Ruby. I think they spotted us, I say. Well, kind of hard to miss, Ivan points out. The car moves closer, so close that I can see dropped jaws and bulging eyes. The car brakes to a stop. The driver's side door flies open and one of the officers jumps out. The other officer, a skinny young guy, follows suit, but he looks annoyed. What are you doing? He says. Don't be a hero. We could have stayed in the car where it's safe. I'm looking, says the driver in her radio receiver, at a gorilla and an elephant, and the gorilla has a tiny dog on his shoulder. And no, I have not been hallucinating. They said the park got hit by the tornado, says the skinny officer, carefully aiming his pistol. We can't exactly shoot the gorilla, the driver says. And I like the way she's thinking. Try me. What's his crime? Jaywalking. Thing is, I love elephants, says the driver. My daughter collects stuffed elephants. I mean, stuffed toys, not real ones. She listens to her radio for a moment. Get animal control out here, says the skinny officer. Get a van, get a moving truck, get a 747, I don't care. Ivan, I whisper in his ear, this is not looking good. You and Ruby gotta stay put. Don't make any sudden moves. No funny business, okay? These guys are freaking out. Ivan sits down on the ground. Slowly, very slowly, Ruby settles next to him. The driver smiles. Aw, that's so cute. Skinny officer nods. Yeah, in a deadly kind of way. I gotta do this, I say to my friends. If you stay calm, they won't mess with you. But, Bob, worry clouds Ivan's face. You need us. What I need is for you to stay alive, I reply. I can see he isn't going to listen to the reason, so I try a different approach. Ivan, I say, it's like this. Boss is my sister. I let her down once, and now, well, I have a second chance. I'll explain it all later, but I need to do this. Ivan looks at the officers, guns drawn, and then nods. You are the one and only Bob, he says. You got this, pal. I leap into the air, into the vast unknown, just like Kimu did. Well, maybe not quite so elegantly, but I do my best. It isn't far to the bridge, but far is relative when the wind is blowing down houses like the big bad wolf. I watch a stop sign fly past. I navigate through trees scattered like popsicle sticks. I keep an eye out for gators and pythons. Lightning strikes a tree. I brace for the thunder. It shakes the earth, the air, my teeth, my bones. A branch falls on a power line. Sparks dance like fireworks. I hate fireworks. I move with more care after that. I know enough to stay away from downed power lines, thanks to the Weather Channel and Storm Chasers. Man, I love TV. I'd give anything to be watching it from nice, cozy bed right now. Good thing I know where the bridge is. My swollen nose throbs. What's the point in owning a top-of-the-line sniffer if it's not working right? When I pass a bird's nest on the ground, I offer to help the owner, a jay. She swears at me. At least I think she does. I hear nuts and some other interesting words. I tend to forget that in some circles, dogs are considered predators. I wonder how Kimu and the others escapees are doing. One thing I know for sure, having been on the inside and the outside, is that way too much of the world ain't made for wild animals. How would a meerkat cross a highway? How would a panther face down a city block? How would a wolf survive an encounter with a gun? For that matter, who do I think I am playing hero? Nutwit was right. I'm soft. I'm slow. I'm not a street dog anymore. I'm a pampered, lazy pooch. I hear the rush of water, a different sound from the pouring rain, and out of nowhere, there it is, the creek. Boss mentioned that the car was near the bridge, but when I get close, I remember what the officer at the shelter said. The bridge had collapsed. And then I see it. A little car, round-topped, floating, caught in a dislodged tree at the edge of the roaring creek, not far from the crumbled remains of the bridge. And on top of that car, even though it's completely impossible, is a puppy. Waiting. And all I can think is, that dog is a nincompoop. The creek is filled with pieces of trees, boards, trash cans, plastic chairs, everything you can imagine. It's moving way too fast for me to try to cross. I stare at the far side of the creek at the collapsed bridge. I really wish I hadn't seen that puppy. I know there's another way to cross the creek of sorts, downstream a bit, and an old pedestrian bridge made of wood and metal and rope. No one uses it anymore. No one with any sense. When I reach it, the little bridge is swaying like a cradle. It's blocked off by a rusty metal gate to keep people from using it, but I can easily squeeze through the bars. I run halfway across, lose my footing, run some more. God, what am I doing? A fresh gust pushes the bridge with such force that I slip. Half my body is dangling off the edge. I dig my claws into the wet wooden slats, and oh, am I glad my nails are long and sharp, because I fight off Sarah's clippers whenever I can. Pulling. Man, I wish I hadn't eaten so much cheese over the years. And then, oomph, one last effort, and I'm back on the bridge. It feels good, so good to return to that little stretch of swinging slats. I want to live. Really, I do. I don't care about that puppy anymore. I just don't want to die this way. Not like this. The fear's in my throat, my heart, my gut. I've got to get off this rickety bridge, get back to Ivan and Ruby, back to my wonderful Bob-smelling bed. I'm not a hero. Never have been, never will be. I can live with that, 'cause at least I'll be alive. I turn, moving snail slow because the stupid bridge just won't stay put, crawling on my belly so I won't lose my footing again. Almost to the end, I glance back, like a fool. Just in time to see the car with the puppy lurch loose from its mooring in the tree, swirling into the middle of the creek like a toy boat in a bathtub. The puppy isn't howling or anything. He's just lying on his belly, same as me, waiting. What a nincompoop, I think yet again, and I'm honestly not sure whether I mean him or me. I will not lie. I am not thinking, oh yay, now I get to be a hero. Nope. I'm thinking, you gotta be kidding me. Just a few more seconds and I would have been out of here. I may or may not use a few other choice words, way worse than anything that Jay came up with. Then I run back to the middle of the bridge and wait a split second, maybe 2, maybe 3, and I jump. And I ain't proud of this, but halfway down, I remember that I really, really, really don't like riding in cars. I'm sort of a dog paddling the air, thinking I can slow things down, maybe even reverse direction, like Wile E. Coyote in those old cartoons. Cartoons are ridiculous for a reason. All right, I'm going to stop there for now. Have a good day.